Whew, it's a pretty warm day out here in Los Angeles. It's the 11th day of August, and it gets pretty warm around that time, at least here in Los Angeles. I sure would hate to dwell in Arizona. What is my point? How many of you ever really thought about the time that you were born? I was born in 1967, and the point that I'm making here is right now it's pretty warm. Really warm here in Los Angeles, and it's, well, right now the day it is as I make this video. And in the past I said I was going to be doing a sermon on the time, thanking God for time. Right now I'm sitting here in my office. That's what I nicknamed it anyway. And I'm sitting here in my office and it's pretty warm. And if I don't want to do anything, I don't have to, unless I'm obligated to do it. If I have to be somewhere at a certain time, then I can't, or then I have to get up and go do that. But right now, if I don't want to do anything, I don't have to. If I want to sleep to a certain hour, I can. But have you ever thought, what if you'd have been born back in the 1800s? Sometimes when it gets really, really warm, and I say, I think I'll have a nice cold drink. I think I'll have some ice cream. I think I'll do this and do that to escape the heat. And then I say, you know what? I wonder what they do back in the 1700s, so I'll Google it. I watch particular TV shows that are entertaining, and I said, I'm going to Google it. And when I Google those things, I just want to drop to my knees and thank God for the time that He allowed me to be born. Back in the old days, it's really fun to read. It's really fun to look up. It's really fun to know. It's your history, for crying out loud. And I'm like, oh my goodness, look what they had to go through just to get some ice. Right now, if I want to go to the store and decide I want to get a bag of ice, no big deal. Go get your bag of ice, bring it back here. The transportation, when I look back in the old days, when there was no refrigerators, when there was no microwaves, when there was no electricity, when there was no toilets, the things that we take for granted today, the cell phones and stuff that we have. Right now we have cell phones, the stereo systems, the way they're making radios and ways for us to listen to music and enjoy music. Screen televisions, big old televisions. You can get a television screen TV in your house like the size of the movie theaters, the screens in the movie theaters that you see. And oh my God, what a luxury. And then I say to myself, let's say, for example, you want to wear something really cool, and they have all kind of beautiful, decent, lovely sunshine summer dresses. And then you look back in the old days and you go, oh my God, what they have on is still like it hot. They had to wear certain type of clothes, and even in the heat like this, they had to wear certain type of clothes, because that's how it was back then. When there was no, Victoria's Secret. There was no ice cream truck running down every block. What about when the trash man comes and he dumps the trash? All you got to do is just take it out to the street, and then they do the hard work, and all you got to do is just bring it back in, and you do that when you want to. And sometimes I say, Lord, you know what? I just want to thank you. I really, really do. I just want to thank you for allowing me to be born when I was. And Little House on the Prairie, for example, you see the way they lived in Little House on the Prairie? Such as days that look like back that, so to speak. 1700s, 1800s, early 1900s, when there was no cars and the things that we take for granted today. If I don't have a washing machine, thank goodness for the laundromat. And if there was no laundromats invented then, do you know how they had to wash clothes back in the old days? I mean, they had to wash clothes in a way that I never even heard of. I've never heard of anybody going to a place where there's water and then beating clothes on a rock to get them clean. I'm familiar with the washboard, but I've always grown up with washing machines. The way they had to get ice. And I love the fact that I can just go inside the store and just buy a gallon of milk and just get a dozen of eggs while I'm at it. There's times where people, and some still practice it today, but it's by choice. They don't have to. I still pick chitlins, and they making chitlins the way you don't really have to clean them much now, but I just do it anyway because I want to. And some people They have to milk a cow. They have to wait till the chicken hatch eggs. Well, that's, to me, looking at the Wizard of Oz, that's really a pretty fun way to live. But I would want to live like that by choice, not because I have to. They had to milk cows and wait till the chicken hatch eggs, and then they had to be up like at 4 or 5, 3 o'clock in the morning to start the day. And the way when it was cold, they had to deal with the heat a certain. When it was cold, they had to work a heater a certain way. It's not as simple as we had to, the way you just plug it in the wall and then just turn it on. The washing machines that they had when they first started making washing machines, none like the ones that we have today. Now they're making them fancy. And sometimes, I can just go on and on and on with this video. Because it's called Val's Appetizer and Snack Sermons, I have to wrap it up. Sometimes I just want to just stop and say, Lord, I just want to thank you. I just want to thank you for the time that you have allowed me to be born. When we have all of the things that are to my service, like right now, I have fans going on. You have an air conditioner in your office, and they didn't have all those things back then. I'm like, oh my God, how did they deal with this heat then? So I'll Google it, and I'll just say, Lord, thank you. And you know what? I'm going to get real down, deep, personal. There's a such thing as Black History Month, and I'm proud to be a part of it. But you know what? There's something that I want to share with you, and it is a fact. I know what it's like to deal with discrimination, but I've never known what it's like to deal with segregation. That's another reason why when I watch Black History Month, I'm like, when I know about Black History Month, when I say to myself, I say, Lord, thank you so much that you did not allow me to be born back in that time. Thank you that you allowed me to be born when I was. Because not only that, but also the fact that if I don't want to get up at 3 o'clock in the morning, I shouldn't have to unless I have a real good reason. But back in the old days, the mothers had to be up 3 o'clock in the morning just to start their day. It took time just to get the stove warmed up. It took time just to get the stove warmed up. I'm like, you know what, Lord? I don't know how many just really stop and think about that. This is Val from Val's Appetizer and Snack Sermons. Do you ever just thank God for the time that you were born? And you know what? Sometimes I'll talk to a woman who is much older than I am, who have experienced living back in those times. And then she'll tell me how things were. Now we have hospitals. They had to have the baby in the house. And I said, oh my God. And things that the way they were, like in the times where they lived, when they were born coming up, which is way before my time, but they're really old today, and they can tell you those things. And I say, Lord, you know what? Thank you so much that I was born when I was. How many of us really, really think about that? And not only that, but about us being Christians. We were born under the new covenant. The new covenant in the Bible is based on better than the old covenant, according to my understanding. The new covenant that we're under now is better than the old covenant. It's my understanding, because I don't like to get nothing wrong when it comes to the Word of God. If it was not for Jesus, we would not be able to come to God and talk to Him so easily. If it was not for Jesus, that's why Jesus is so important. Thank God I was born at that time. I understand that it wasn't so easy to talk to God way, way back in old times, way before you and I were even thought of. Right now, because of Jesus, what about the time that people was born and Jesus hadn't been crucified yet? Now, just because of Jesus, you can go to God and talk to Him anytime you want to because of Jesus. But what about before Jesus was born? I thank God that I was not born in that time. I'm glad that God allowed me to be born after Jesus had took on that sacrifice at Calvary. Lord, I just want to thank you for the time that you have allowed me to be born. Valerie 3 from Val's Appetizer and Snack Sermons.